In the previous video, we set up a fire rate that controlled our fire rate in full auto. So up next, we want to set up a way to delay the firing for semi-auto. So that's going to be done in our weapon base because that's going to apply kind of to all of our weapons just in general, because we don't want to be able to shoot faster than our full auto firing. Now this is going to be done on the client, not the server just yet. The server's going to come later and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and close our weapon full and our weapon semi, because everything we're going to be dealing with, at least for right now, is going to be done in the fire function, well, controlled and kind of set up in our fire function of our weapon base. So pretty much we're going to start a timer when we fire, and after whatever the fire delay is, that's when we're going to allow ourselves to fire again. So to start, I go find a good section. Let's do this at we'll do at near the bottom of the variables. So I'm going to copy this uProperty section, and I'm going to give it a name. So it's going to be float. Let's call it delay between shots. And actually, on second thought, I want to move this up near the top. After the animations, montage, weapon name, I'm going to do it here. Or actually, better yet, I'm going to do it right underneath weapon name. All right, so we have that. Then I want to have a boolean. So bool beep can fire, which I don't think I already have. I do not. So we're going to set beacon fire equals true by default. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create a dedicated function. So it's going to be void control fire delay. So go ahead and create the implementation, copy it and move it down right above our fire function, like so. So here we have it. So what we're going to do here is beacon fire equals true. And what I'm going to do is when we fire at the very end, so down here, so this will be after a successful shot, and Visual Studio froze, 1 second. There we go. So after a successful shot, we're going to do get world. Once it unfreezes again, get world, and it's still freezing. Get timer manager, set timer. We're going to create a timer handle, so F timer handle, temp or fire rate handle. Plug that in. Refer to this class. We're going to do a weapon base. What was it? Control fire delay. Then we have the delay between shots as our delay, and we want to pass in false because we do not want it to be looping. So because it's not going to be looping, it should destroy itself. So every time we shoot, we also need to set it to not be able to fire again. So at the very top, once we subtract the ammo, what I'm going to do is beacon fire equals false. And this is going to control kind of a couple different things, such as when we're reloading, we don't want to be able to, we want to wait until we're done reloading before we can fire again. So beacon fire equals false. This timer is going to run. It's going to call control fire delay, which is going to set beacon fire to equal true. So we're going to take this, going to cast ourselves, and we're going to do a check. So if current magazine ammo is greater than 0 and beacon fire, then we will fire. So let's go ahead and compile. And this should be good for every firearm we have. Alrighty. Gotta wait for this little hang as normal. Okay, let's open up our STG. So under weapon name, we have delay between shots. I forgot to give that a default value, but let's give it a value of 1 second. So we can test it. So go to semi-auto. I'm spamming left click as fast as I can. It's delaying by 1 second. I go to full auto. It's still fast, and I can still spam left click though. So we're gonna need to set up something kind of similar to this in full auto, but that would not be done just yet. So I'm gonna actually give this a default value. Where was it? Delay between shots. Let's set that equal to 0.02. Or 0.15, and we'll do 0.18. So let's test with that value and see if it's decent. And I'll spam left click. All right, that's too slow. 0.15. Let's just do 0.1. Too fast. Let's do 0.15. 0.13. So if you can time it right, then it's pretty fast. So I'm gonna do just 0.15 as the default. 0.14. And now let's test it with our M1 carbine. Set us up to use that. I'm in the wrong section. 0.14. I'm going to use the M1 carbine. And there we go. So we have a delay now between our shots. The only thing we would have to really work on, which it's not too big of a deal, is essentially just doing kind of the same thing, but for full auto, which it'll be pretty easy. So we're going to go ahead and set that up. So I'm going to quickly set myself up to use the STG again and close the editor, and let's give this a try. So we're going to open our weapon full. Let's go down to our fire. Here we are. So yada yada can fire. And we're going to do and B can fire. So we have B is firing equals true. We're going to set B can fire to equal false. We're also going to start a timer. So the timer is going to be the same exact thing here. So we have B can fire, we set it to false, then we call our control fire delay function, which honestly needs to be renamed because that's not a good one at all. But this should allow us to simply have a delay between full auto fire as well. So that way we can't really spam it. Okay, cannot access it. Line 171, I'm guessing the timer. Yep. So let's do A weapon full instead of A weapon base. I forgot about that. And now we should be good to go. So this should give us just a delay in both semi and full. And I'm a little concerned about doing this on the server as well. I want to kind of limit it a little bit less so it's not quite as restrictive. So that way when you spam a shot, you hit them perfectly back to back. Well, when you first send that server RPC and it does the fire and starts the timer for the delay, it might not be perfectly in sync. So the times might be closer together between your first shot and your second shot than they were on the client, so to speak. So let's give it a test. I'm going to go to semi-auto. That's good. I'm going to go back to full auto. Same thing, but if I hold it down, we have a nice fire rate. And out of ammo. So that's working well. Yeah, they don't go that far. I need to increase the range a good bit. But yeah, we now have we can no longer shoot faster than full auto essentially by spamming our mouse. So that's one more thing out of the way, and I think we are practically done with our full auto weapon class, like entirely just about, as far as I can think anyways. And same thing we're done with our firing in general. The only thing we would have left to really do would be our shotgun class, and then later down the road have a special weapons for things like I want to do the ray gun, and I'm not entirely sure if I want to do the Wunderwaffe yet. That's probably going to be something near the end that we would actually implement because that's going to be quite a long video. So I'll see you in the next one.